Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to all. Berjumpa lagi dalam siri webinar Leaders of Enterprise. Welcome to our 16th webinar series, Leaders of Enterprise, brought to you by the Faculty of Engineering University Technology Malaysia, Johor Bahru. We are initiating University Industry Collaboration Platform with our Leaders of Enterprise to share their thought, way forwards, challenges, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. So now we are streaming live from Facebook, Faculty of Engineering, University Technology Malaysia. So today I have a very special guest, a speaker. Please welcome Engineer Arul Hisham Abdul Rahim from the AHA Consultant.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum, Engineer Arul Hisham. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, my friend, my dear friend.
You looks good today.
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay.
Yeah. So to all viewers, Engineer Arul Hisham is the principal of AHA Consultant. I believe that AHA Consultant is you own the company, Arul? Is that your own your company itself?
Yes, I founded AHA Consultant and we have 3 other partners in the company.
Okay. So I just wonder about the name of AHA. Is it means of stand for your name or something like that?
Oh,
Arul
yes.
Hisham Abdul Rahim?
Yes, Arul Hisham bin Abdul Rahim, correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But of
Okay,
course now
yeah.
those letters means my other partner as well. R stands for Rosli. The other A stands for Azizan.
Oh,
And
really? So it
yes,
have many meanings, yeah, on the
yes,
AHA.
correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Actually, because
All right,
I'm keep on curious, but it is mean by the AHA actually. Okay.
all right.
Well, thank you very much for accepting our invitation today. It's our privilege to have you with us today, Arul. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. You would like to say something before I pass to you this session?
I just like to say thank you to the university and to enable me to share some thoughts.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whatever sharing that we can get today can be beneficial to all the audience.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you, Arul. I think without further ado, I will pass this session to you. So to all viewers, today Engineer Arul Hisham Abdul Rahim will share with us with his topic, is engineering consulting service still relevant in IR 4.0 era? I believe this is going to be very interesting issues, very interesting topics. So later, after we towards the end of the session, we will allow some question and answer if you have anything interesting to ask or anything to share later. So without further ado, Engineer Arul Hisham, I pass to you, over to you with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor Swaimi. And the topic today is engineering consultancy services still relevant in Industrial Revolution 4.0 era. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all the audience. Thank you to the Faculty of Engineering UTM and Professor Swaimi for inviting me to this webinar to share some thoughts and insights on engineering consultancy business. I am very honored to share my experience as I do not hold high academic qualifications. As you can see, I put there I've got no MBA, no MSc, no PhD. But I do have some other qualification, PN, FIEM, GBI, commissioning specialist, and RIM. Those enable me to do some business. Okay, so let's look at the contents of my presentation today. I will talk about my career and I will share my career journey, and also we will look at some hypothetical questions with regards to consultancy industry. As you can see, what ifs, and look at the challenges that we face in consulting business. And then we also look at some foreseeable issues as we embrace Industrial Revolution 4.0. And last, we hope that there will be some collaboration with UTM in the future, particularly with the Faculty of Engineering. Okay, a little bit about my career. Okay, I was sent to El Paso, Texas by Petronas back in 1983, right after I finished my Form 5. Okay, and then I managed to finish within 4 years my first degree. I was offered by the university to continue with my master's, but Petronas insisted that I come back despite the fact that in 86, 87, Malaysia was in recession. Nevertheless, within 2 months of coming back, I managed to get a job at Texas Instrument Sdn Bhd in Ula Klang as a process engineer. In fact, I applied for the job randomly 6 months prior to finishing my studies. However, I did not find the job interesting. As I was in the factory from morning until night, and I thought it was rather routine. Then, in 1988, I joined Fakulti Kejuruteraan Jentera, as it was known then. I was interviewed by Professor Dr. Sharif Nabi Bas, the Dean of Faculty at that time. Well, I thought becoming an academician would be interesting, as it would give me opportunities to further my study and also becoming an expert in some fields. As a matter of fact, for those of you in the Sekolah Mechanical, I joined about the same time as my two other friends, Dr. Amran Alias and Dr. Jamaluddin Taib, both of whom were my juniors at El Paso. Okay, so I got myself involved with some consultancy work under the guardianship of Professor Dr. Saparuddin Arifin, formerly from, he was in UT Hisham before he had a stroke. And also I signed up for my master's by research under Professor K.S. Kanan in energy efficiency. However, I didn't finish my master's because I resigned half through it due to funding matters and also the scheme Saraan Baru, SSB. Some people call it Saya Sayang Bos at that time. Okay. During my stay in UTM, that's where I learned to do some consultancy work and also energy audit from Professor Kanan. Yeah. And then from then on, I left UTM and I joined Sepakat Setia Perunding, ENM, Sdn Bhd for about 1 year. During that time also in 1993, I sat for my PE interview and passed, fortunately. And in 1993, I got an opportunity to become a partner at Jurutera CMP Sdn Bhd, another small M&E and CNS consulting firm. At that time, Jurutera CMP was not doing very well. Yeah, it's a small company, but this is my opportunity that I think I have to take. As far as I'm concerned, it's either swim or sink. Well, I don't have so much money, not much saving at that particular time, but I have to buy some shares in the company. So what do? I go to look for some personal loan. Yeah, and of course, subsequently, along I have to pay for the additional shares, and I pay them through dividend until all the partners reach equal share, standing at 25% each. Slowly, the company grew until about 50 staff before 1997 financial crisis. We even had Prefino working for us at that particular time. Yeah, of course, everybody know 1997, 1998, there was a big financial crisis that then we have to lay off many of the staff and go back to small. You know, in 2003, I decided to venture into contracting business. Yeah, and at that time I left CMP and set up Dynamic Jana Sdn Bhd, a contracting company. We managed to secure one project, a district cooling plant in University Sains Islam Malaysia in Ilai, on a design and build contract. However, we ran into some cash flow problem because in 2004 the country had decided to cut some spending. Yeah, and then of course I had to survive 2 years without salary, without taking any salary, and fund my living through to the sale of my shares from CMP. Unfortunately, I've got some value in the shares, you know. And also in 2003, I set up a hard consultant. Managed to get some jobs from people that knew me during my time at Juruterus CMP. And of course, over the years, from 2003 onwards, I developed AHAR consultant into a niche area, particularly in district cooling system, district cooling and energy services businesses. During this time also, academia has always been in my blood. I did some lecturing in Malaysia French Institute, especially on air conditioning, Unicell from 2006 2009, as well as doing some training programs on energy efficiency. Apart from AHAR consultant and Dynamic Jana, I also have AHAR Lestari and Hizatech. I will discuss on this, what we do in the next slide. Well, 2025, I have intention to retire. I will be 60 years old, but nevertheless, I think maybe retire from active business. But I want to go into advisory service, academia, and perhaps do some writing of all the experience, maybe memoir, you know, for future people to learn from our experience. So these are my experience. These are my career path that I can share with you. Okay, as far as my companies are concerned, okay, as you know, AHAR Consultant is a technical and business assessment company. We also do front-end engineering design, up to detail design, and we also provide some training, especially on the operation, on the design of M&E systems inside building. And for AHAR Lestari PLT, basically it's an energy services company. Energy services company, we also do green GBI, Green Building Index Facilitation Service. That means we assist clients in order to get their building certified as a green building. And we also provide commissioning specialist service for people that want to do commissioning for new building, as well as retro commissioning for existing building, because it is important that all this building to be commissioned or recommissioned once every now and then. And Dynamic Jana is an air conditioning company. We are registered with CIDB for M&E grade G6 and civil engineering grade G4. And recently we come up with this company called Hizatech Sdn Bhd. Basically, it's a trading company. We also intend to do some manufacturing of insulation material using nanotech technology. And also we are also producing some anti-rust products. Anti-rust product is actually a solution this particular solution is the recipe is actually designed by a local Malaysian scientist but residing in Australia. So we are collaborating with them to produce the product locally. These are some of the projects that we had done at Juruterus CMP, at Ahar Consultant. This is a Plant 4 project in district cooling plant in Cyberjaya, in Putrajaya. And the uniqueness of this particular building or project is this is a 100,000 ton-hour concrete tank, 32 meter high and 45 meter in diameter. And it is about, in terms of capacity, it's about 15 million gallons. If you compare with Shabas Reservoir, so normally Shabas Reservoir is about 5 million gallons. Okay, and in 2014 we received an award for the most innovative at the district cooling conference in KL. And this is another one. Recently we completed a district cooling plant extension of a district cooling plant in Cyberjaya at Precinct 1 near Alamanda. We actually added 2 tanks, 25,000 ton-hour tanks, total of 50,000 ton-hour, and also some chillers at this annex building at the back. Yeah, total capacity addition was 15,000 tons, refrigeration tons. And in this particular project, I actually collaborated with Professor Kaha on the design of this, on checking the design of this diffuser. Yeah, this diffuser is where the water comes in that we store inside this tank. Okay, and Professor Kaha assisted us in doing some CFD analysis for this particular tank, and alhamdulillah, his analysis is not far off from the real thermocline thickness performance. Otherwise, he will be in trouble lah, you know. And we also do some feasibility studies, audits, due diligence for project in BioExcel, in Nusa Jaya, KLIA, and then KL Central. And also we do some audit in operation of buildings. You know, like for example, this hospital, they have some fungus issues, and we come in and help them look at the sources or reasons or why it happens. Okay. Here are some of the articles that I have written pertaining district cooling. This one is in Bulletin Engineer, Board of Engineer Malaysia. District cooling system industry is regulation framework. The answer back in April 2015, and this particular one appeared in International District Energy Association, yeah, EDR in USA, fourth quarter 2015 edition. Okay, what ifs? Okay, let me ask you, what if there is no air conditioning in your lecture hall? Okay, what if there is no Wi-Fi or local area network on campus? What if there is fire in your laboratories? What if there's no electricity in your building? And what if there is no water in your toilet? I'm sure you'll be miserable, right? So some people say, some time ago, some people say consultancy business is a sunset industry business. We are in the sunset industry. Okay, let's go back to the years gone by. Back in the 90s, at that time, Malaysia was concentrating on manufacturing and industry. We had this Malaysian Industrial Master Plan, and the oil and gas industry was also expanding. Petronas was going overseas and do a lot of exploration work, back in the 90s. And then back in the 2000s, that's where you find this information technology. We had this multimedia super corridor set up in Cyberjaya. And then into 2010s onwards, people talk about halal industry and also services sector. You know, people talk about halal hub, Islamic finance, and also tourism industry. And 2020s onwards, people talk about Industrial Revolution 4.0, and you also see some transportation projects, infrastructure, the ERL, the high-speed train, the MRT, and now when we talk about IR 4.0, what is the focus that we are looking at? You know, are we going back, like for example, the information technology period, our multimedia super corridor? At the end of the day, people come into Malaysia, they set up a call center rather than a software developer in Malaysia. Okay, so we have to ask ourselves. But nevertheless, all this require infrastructure and also buildings, right? They need house. You need to house them somewhere. Therefore, you need infrastructure, you need buildings. Otherwise, faculty used to be called Alam Bina. Now it is called what? Built environment in UTM, who have been closed by now. Huh? And also, I'm asking, why is it not Sekolah Kejuruteraan Mechanical not producing some mechanical engineers tailored to this field? I'll tell you why we need people in this field, good people in this field after this. Okay, now look, let us look at the contribution of construction in GDP. Okay, we recorded the highest GDP growth of about 10% back in 1996. Yeah, and of course there was a recession. Our economy goes down -7% in 1998. Okay, but overall, the average growth between 1991 to year 2000 was about 7.22%. Okay, and from 2010 to 2015, the average growth or the average construction contribution was about 4% of the GDP. See, these are the data coming from the Ministry of Finance. And of course, comparatively, if you look at Australia construction industry, theirs is about 8% of the GDP. Now, let's look at this contribution of construction to employment from 1991 until 2010, and it's hovering between 9 to 10%. So meaning that, of course, this also includes those what do you call that, illegal people or party or even immigrant people. Yeah, but definitely you can see that 10% of the employment is being contributed by construction industry, which you know, and you look at the value change in the construction industry. You can become the client yourself, or the owner, or the investor. And then you have these architects, consultant, project managers. M&E engineer will be inside here. Project managers, people that do manage the project. You have the contract. Then you have the contractors. Yeah, and then from the contractor you have subcontractors, and also you have material suppliers, machinery suppliers, fabricator, skilled workers, workmen, and so on. You need construction on and also the regulatory people that is familiar with the construction industry value chain. So we need all these people to be in place, and as you can see, if the construction industry is not doing anything or is having small growth, all these things, material supplier, machinery suppliers, will not have business to do. Okay, this is in terms of value. In terms of value, if you look at these figures, this is 2014, 2015, and 2015. It was estimated at that time, 2014, 33 billion ringgit is the contribution from construction sector. And in 2015 it was 36, almost 36 billion. And if you look at the breakdown between building, civil engineering, and electrical, mechanical work, you can see that building alone consists of about 27 billion of the construction value. Okay, if you take 30% of this 27 billion for mechanical and electrical inside building, then the value for M&E alone is about 9 billion a year. Now, when we talk about challenges in consulting business, there are many: manpower, productivity, perception, policies, funding, and profitability. Okay, so there could be more, but what came into my mind at this particular time is these six. All right. Now let's just look individually of each and every one of them. Okay, when we look at manpower, we require analytical mind, people with analytical mind to come into this industry. And there are not many people, not many young graduates being trained at the university level that can come into the industry straight away. Of course, there are some universities that have courses in building services, but not many. And also we have difficulty in retaining some of good people, experienced staff, due to low fee with our current industry. Okay, and nevertheless, you see that building designs are currently becoming more and more complex, and this complex design require complex building operation and maintenance. Okay, and when we look at the productivity side, okay, of course there are new methods of design work. For example, the use of BIM, building information model management. The government is pushing to all consultants to use BIM in the production of designs, and also new construction method. For example, using IBS in all the construction. And also now, currently, when we talk about productivity, the softwares are getting expensive, more expensive. It used to be you pay one time and you can use the software perpetually. For example, AutoCAD, you Revit, MEP, you pay 12,000 ringgit and you can use it for 5 years. But now, because of its subscription base, you have to pay 7,000 ringgit every year for one PC. So imagine if you have 10 PCs, you would have to pay 70,000, and every year. So this is a challenge to us, especially for small people like me. All right. And perception. This is another matter. All this while, people in construction industry, especially building construction, is actually low level engineering compared to, say, oil and gas. So and then traditionally M&E are the smallest compared to, in terms of quantum, compared to architectural and CNS costs. But this is not true anymore, because there are some buildings, where the M&E requirement is so much that it can go as high as 40 or 45% of the building costs. And some sectors of the public think that consultant is actually selling drawing and papers, and they think that we can just copy and paste some drawings from previous project and do into a new one. This is not true. Yeah, each and every projects are unique. Each and every one is what do you call that? It's a prototype by itself. We don't build prototype. We build the real thing in one time. It's not like you build your car. The manufacturer build and test the car using the prototype, and only then they continue with building the real car for sale. Yeah. And if you compare the rates of consultant engineers compared to accountant, lawyer per hour basis, sometimes I feel embarrassed to tell you exactly how much we actually get. Yeah, if you go to see specialist, say for example cardiologist, he perhaps 15 minutes talking to you. How much does he cost? How much does he charge you on the consultancy fee? Not less than 300 ringgit in that 15 minutes. So 1 hour, 1,200 ringgit. Can we charge the same amount of fee? Okay. Of course, these are compounded because of some of the failures. I have to admit, some consultant, not all consultant are the same. Some gives you low quality design, partly because the fees are so low. When you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And because of that, they send all the young chaps, they send all their drafters to go and do your work. At the end of the day, it doesn't work well, and it gives bad name to the whole industry. Okay, and also some contractors are going around saying that they can also do the design work. Yes, they may have capability, but under the Act, Akta Jurutra, huh, people that supposed to practice engineering are the consultant, not the contractor. Okay, so I hope we stick to our profession, rather than trying to encroach into other people's expertise. And then look at the policies. Okay, we have FTA, free trade agreement, that enables people, foreign consultant to come into the market. I've seen some projects in Medini, in Nusajaya, being done by Singaporean. Yeah. Also, big, even government project, big, huge government project, national icon is being done by foreign players. All right. And then look at the government policies. They are treating the consultant the same as a contractor. They ask us to bid. Okay. Perhaps the person should ask his surgeon to bid who is the cheapest surgeon to do operation on his heart. Can you put a value on the intellect of a person? This is something, I find it very odd. Okay. And we have different policies between government agencies as well as GLCs. Yeah. Despite we have to register with Ministry of Finance. Okay. And sometimes I find that because of university do need to get some money for your operation, and you guys are also competing with us in getting projects. Of course, you have bigger resources. Okay, you have all the software in the world funded by the taxpayer. We cannot fight with you. So we should be complementing, not competing. Yeah. And I guess one of it is we don't have champion that to promote the welfare of consultant currently. On funding and cash flow, the fact is the consultants are the last to be paid, although they are the first coming into the project. So it takes maybe 5 to 10 years to recover the full fees of whatever project that you are doing. Okay. And because of that, the banks are also reluctant to provide banking facilities to enable us, to help us in our cash flow and also growth. Yeah, and this is another thing, the market practice, whereby price has become the prime objective, or the prime criteria over quality of service and competency. People are undercutting. As a result, the whole industry uh, will be in trouble because you cannot cover the costs. Okay. Now, actually, consultant take up the risk on behalf of the client. Okay. And as far as M&E engineers are concerned, we actually provide life to the industry, to the building. Sorry. We provide life. We are like a doctor for buildings. We take care of the heart. There is the pumping system. We take care of the nervous system, all the senses. Yeah. We take care of the bloodstream in your body with the piping and our sanitary. Imagine, you don't have piping. Again, what ifs just now, the questions. If all this don't work, the body is lifeless. Okay, as we are going to embrace Industrial Revolution 4.0, okay, these are some of the issues that we need to consider. I maybe as an academician, you all can explore more on each issue that I will mention after this. Yeah. For example, in design development, can AI actually replace human interface to do design? Can software become more affordable? Instead of we are tied with the software, or open source, for example. Yeah. Can the software become so clever that it produces drawing quickly, with minimal intervention from human? Okay. And then perhaps we're looking at cloud computing, sharing of database, pay per use software, which is value for money, easier to use. Yeah. And then on the legislature, if you look at can the AI replace human dealing with authorities and sign for CCC? Yeah. And then when you talk about online submission, plan submission to PBT, can it be done using cloud? Of course, there's a caveat here. Yeah. When you do plan submission, you must have real people manning the customer service. You see, just like when you call banks nowadays, you are being greeted and answered by the computers. Yeah. And there is sometimes you have to wait for a long time before a human answers your call. Is this you call customer service? Okay, in construction, in building the building, constructing the building, can robot construct like unmanned car factory? And can the building be manufactured, using 3D printing? I leave it to the university to think about it. Can the building be manufactured factory-like? Therefore, we are able to reduce the cost and manpower, just like Lego assembly, fix, and then site supervision. Can it be done using CCTV and drone? These are the areas that I believe possibility in IR 4.0. Now, in operation and maintenance of building, can the building be operated fully automated? And can the indoor condition be adaptable using AI? Can the repairs be online or remotely, just like the car now? It can be connected through the internet to actually what call this diagnose your car. Can the building data analytic to be done by using some algorithm? These are all the questions that we need answers. And of course, we need to have people with necessary skills and knowledge in order to address all these things. Before I talk about collaboration, let us go back uh, into the issue of my earlier question just now. As far as you can see, I have presented that the engineers consulting position in the scheme of things within the Malaysia's context, particularly, and then I also uh, listed down challenges that are faced in the industry and for future evolution as we embrace IR 4.0. And I mentioned earlier, the average input of the manufacturing sector is about 27 billion. So we can estimate the total fees of a mechanical MEP or MNE engineer in a year is about 500 million in a year. So SME plays an important part in providing employment. Yeah. So with regards to this, I believe that it is important that the industry continues to survive, rather than not giving any importance. Hang on, yeah. So I believe, to answer the topic question from the topic, I don't think that computer can actually replace human. Yeah, maybe in not in my lifetime. Yeah, so therefore, at least in the 10 to 20 years period, I believe engineering consultancy, is still relevant because it is a specialized service that you need human to human relationship, that plays an important part in the business. Okay. So as far as collaboration is concerned, there are a few things that I would like to propose and perhaps can be considered in great detail later. Yeah, number one is resources. I believe the university now has industrial attachment sabbatical, but make it at least 1 year. Yeah, and then also we can have academic tenure to practitioner with proper recognition and expertise. I think this will encourage people, maybe retired people also, to go back to the academia and help to develop certain expertise within the academia. And also I would like to propose this industrial postgraduate through piggyback arrangement, meaning that between university and industry and the company, for example, we can exchange. Let's say the academician come to work at my company, and at the same time he can become my supervisor or my staff supervisor, to for further study, for further degree, for industrial PhD, for masters, and so on. In that way, both party would gain knowledge. One is the real knowledge of the industry. Number two, the individual within the company can also increase their marketability because of they have a higher academic qualification. And then secondly, we can look at consultancy. Again, should not be competing. It should be complementary. For example, usage of software. I don't have CFD software. I cannot afford to buy the CFD software. So I have to get Dr. Kaha to assist me. Maybe some expert opinion, analysis. We don't have facilities to do high level of analysis. Okay, and again, energy auditing. Again, is complementary. If we are doing energy auditing, say for example for a refinery, it is much complex than compare and doing for a normal uh, office building. We can do office building, but for a big complex, industrial complex, we don't have the capability. Then complementary, don't compete with us. And then other than that, I'm looking at research. For example, now you're talking about COVID, where we need to do some CFD analysis for SCMV system, air conditioning and mechanical ventilation flow inside building. As you know, I already put up some YouTube videos, AHA Consultant YouTube, because this is a current issue. Okay, this is transmission through SCMV in building. It also can be transmitted through airflow. Therefore, what do? You have CFD, let's do some analysis. Okay, IBS manufacturing. Look at IBS. Why is it not picking up? If you look at the panelists inside IBS, most of them are civil engineer, architect, quantity surveyor, none manufacturing engineer. But IBS essentially is manufacturing. If you look at Japan, the first company that introduced IBS is Toyota car manufacturing, because it's more complex to build a car than building a building. You know, insulation material again for energy saving and all that. Yeah, building M&E sustainable maintenance. Now we have our buildings are getting old, 20 years already. Some of them. Look at the Stadium Shah Alam, the roof are all broken up. Yeah, look at UTM. When we moved there in 88, it was brand new, spanking brand new. Now, the situation is different. Yeah. But we need to use it for another 20 or 30 years. This sustainable maintenance, we cannot just simply build without maintaining existing facilities. So these are area of research that it can be looked at, academic program. Okay. I would propose building services as an option for first degree and master's level. I do not know whether UTM has got this program or not. This is quite important because you can have people working, doing maintenance, doing doing maintenance in building. Yeah, you can also offer course in high performance building. And district cooling and thermal energy storage course in your academic program. Fire engineering is another area, smoke control, and so on. Yeah, law and construction should have construction contract subject should be taught at university undergraduate level, so that they know when they come into this industry, they know some of the issues with the contracts. And energy efficiency, renewables, I guess that has been available now. And perhaps also development of problem-based learning questions with coming from the industry on related subjects. That will also assist the lecturers as well as the students on what actually the problem outside. We cannot be too academic outside sometimes. Yeah. So I'm already finishing my my presentation. I would like to say some special thanks to Professor Dr. Engineer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq bin Abdul Kadir, the Dean of Faculty of Engineering UTM, and of course my great friend, Engineer Dr. Swami Manso, who has invited me. And I must also say thanks to Professor Saparuddin Arifin, my mentor, and Professor Dr. K.S. Kanan. Both of them are formerly FKJ UTM before, and Dr. Sharif Nabi Bash, whom had taken me to become one of the academic members, and Dr. Aziz Hassan, whom I also respected him when he was at the NC academic with his foresights. Okay, with that, I thank you for your attention. I hope you do not fall to sleep. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arul Hisham. So I'm not falling asleep. I'm fine here. I really pay full attention with your with your sharing actually. Well, thank you, Arul, for valuable advice, valuable, insightful uh, vision about this IR 4.0. Yeah, while we waiting question from audience, maybe I would like to allow me to ask you some question. Yeah, for this IR 4.0, Engineer Arul, I think we have three main things that people always talking about. One is the big data, they call it. Yeah, another one they call it artificial intelligence. Yeah,
Mhm.
and another one they call it connectivity. Right. So I think that we need to be really ready on that three elements, which is the big data, uh, and then the artificial intelligence and this connectivity. So from your experience, Arul, especially on this construction consulting, construction building M&E, so within these three, which are the most, I mean, that we already have in Malaysia, which are the thing that you are we most to develop in Malaysia?
Wow, this is a difficult question from Professor.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm the university side. You are actually
Okay.
dealing with the real world, so then you know what is the problem there about the big
No.
data. Because people talking about big data, people talking about AI and then connectivity. Yeah,
Okay, I let me tell you this. Actually, big data, as far as building industry is concerned, uh, there are a lot of data. For example,
okay.
our building automation system. I give you an example. Our building automation system. Yeah, if you install in the building, you have data from the chillers, you have data from the pumps, you have data from the what they call it, surrounding,
Yeah.
everywhere. But from what I see, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
the people that run the building do not look at the data. You see, they have humongous amount of data, but nobody is reading the data. Why? Partly because they don't understand how to read the data. You know?
Okay.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, data only makes sense when when the data can give you something or some information out of it.
Yeah. For
Otherwise, it's
them,
just
there's no
number.
information.
Correct. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't understand how to look at a chart or graph, the data will fail you. You cannot understand anything, right?
Yeah, just useless. Yeah, something like
You
that. Yeah.
become useless. Exactly. You see? So this is what we need. We this what people with analytical mind.
Yes, that's
People with
analytical
analytical
mind.
mind.
Yeah. Mm.
Then from there he can interpret whatever data from it. You know. I hope
Yeah,
that
yeah.
answer.
Yeah, yeah. I think they quite true. Yeah, because I also dealing with some companies. Yeah, they say, oh, we have many data, doctor, but for us, it's just looking at numbers running on the screen, but we don't really appreciate that. So that's something that we can collaborate between industry and university. Yep.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. What about the connectivity infrastructure in Malaysia? Do you think everything is intact now, come together? Because this thing need to be planned phase by phase, right?
Yeah. Uh, well, you cannot run away from connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, whether connectivity through the telecommunication or
Mm-hmm.
physical connectivity. Of course, with the COVID and everything, you see that virtual connectivity has becoming the in thing, you know. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
obviously, it's a challenge to M&E engineer because we
Yes.
must make sure all buildings are prepared to this kind of scenario. For
Yeah.
example, if you have a internet connection, your internet connection must be very stable, eh? And
Yeah.
also,
Oh,
you also
sure.
must
Yeah.
remember
Mm.
the security side, because
Yeah.
as you become interconnected, people can also hack you and do a lot of funny stuff.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Arul, Engineer Arul, if we go back to the your question, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, about the relevancy of the consulting service in the IR 4.0. So we can conclude that the answer is no, yeah?
Oh no.
Yes, no, also so.
Is
Yes,
it still
no,
relevant?
also
I
so.
think I think it will continue to be relevant.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
continue to be relevant,
because
yeah.
the nature of the job. That's why I say it is continue to be relevant, because the nature of the job is you are dealing with people.
Yeah,
Okay, of course, some of it can help you to improve your productivity, to improve your constructability of buildings, to improve
yep.
your operation of the building. But again, those are the other type of software which is human here.
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah. Mm, yeah.
That
Yeah,
is required.
I
Yeah,
totally agree on that because
yeah,
in terms of knowledge and skills, there are some knowledge, skills, and experience which you cannot find in the book. You cannot
exactly.
read in the book. Even you
Yeah.
cannot document it. It's
Mm.
just by
Experience.
philosophical, by understand the thing that you by looking at that, you know that something is wrong here. Yeah.
All right.
So
Uh,
until we can design a system, a computer like can think like a human, like
yes.
human. So,
Yes.
yeah. So connection. So that we still feel that your uh, work as a consultant still relevant because there are skills, there are experience, there are intuition, which is the tacit knowledge cannot be replaced now
Mm,
by the computer.
mm, mm,
That's from my point of view, Arul. Yeah.
mm, mm. Yeah, I agree with you. So I hope UTM Sekolah Kejuruteraan
Yeah.
Mechanical can also consider my
Yeah.
suggestion.
Yeah, because when I go gonna through your presentation, actually you leave us with a lot of question actually, which is yeah a good thing for us that we can go through and then find the answer, and maybe you can help us to find the answer as well, right?
Can, inshallah,
Yeah,
inshallah, no problem.
yeah, yeah. I was waiting for question if there are any, but I think I love to chat with you because if I'm not mistaken, that you left UTM in 1992, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe the main reason is because the news came, and then I actually uh, appreciate when you think that you want to venture it, you want to swim or you're going to sink. Yeah. So so yeah, it's really a challenge, right? And then you see that how many years, 2 years, no salary. Yeah. So
Yes.
what is your real advice to the students in higher institution before they graduating? Because we want that, because we talk about that we want a well-rounded student, well-ready student. But from your point of view, what is your really message to the students for them get ready to face the real
Okay.
world? Actually, yeah.
Okay. I think first of all, you must have you must have the basic knowledge lah. Number
Yes,
one is
yes,
basic knowledge. If you study engineering, you must have your engineering knowledge. Yeah. And then secondly is your survival. You must survive. You must learn how to survive. You know, this cannot be taught at universities. This is a lifetime. Is and you don't. I like this book. Written by one Chinese chap. Dare to Fail. I cannot
yeah,
remember his name.
yeah.
If you read the
I
Dare
have
to
heard.
Fail,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Malaysian writer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The book in
Okay.
green color book, I think.
So
Yeah, I've
so
heard.
what? How do you define success? It's a matter of how do you define success. Okay, failure is reverse of success, right? But your depend on your definition. You know, if your definition is you want to become a CEO, then you call that as a success. Then that's one of it. But you can also success can mean other things as well. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what area that you venture in. You know, as long as whatever you are better than the day before. Kalau dalam bahasa apa ni Quran dia sebut apa tu, muhasabah diri or something like that, right?
Yeah, masalah.
Muhasabah diri. Today is much better than yesterday lah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, betul. Yeah,
that's how you define success, right?
betul.
Okay,
Yeah.
so don't
Keep on
define it.
improving from
Yeah,
time to time.
betul. Belum, don't define it from other people's punya perspective or other people's eye. Then you got problem, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Thank you, Arul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think masa mencemburui kita lah, Arul. It's
All
already 1
right.
hour. Yeah. So thank you so much, Engineer Arul, for your
Thank you.
insightful, inspiring sharing with us. Of course, it's a great pleasure to have you as our special speaker. My good friend, my close friend. We have a lot of funny story. We have an interesting story to share.
All right.
Yeah, despite your busy schedule, thank you for spending your precious time with me. So, do you like to say something before we end the session, Arul?
Well, again, I thank you all.
Mm-mm.
Hopefully, whatever I said, please don't keep it in your heart. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually for the improvement of the profession as well as for the future of our industry. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
thank
Thank
you,
you, Arul. We are looking
thank you.
forward for our collaboration with your company and for
Inshallah.
our viewers. Yeah, thank you for your passion and keep interest with our program. Don't forget to share and like our webinar. And then have a good day. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye.
Bye.